Hello, everybody. I'm sorry about the lack of audio there, but unfortunately today I am running the show solo. It is not Corey and Luke, it is just Luke, and as such, please be prepared for some technical difficulties as I navigate all of this complex technology here. Right, I hope everybody is having a wonderful day today on this July 22nd, and you are here for Tech Talk Live. Every 2 weeks we like to have a live show on assistive technology, tips and tricks for people with vision impairment. Thank you very much to our returning viewers, and I hope that you will enjoy our show today when we will be taking a look at the updates to the Esight 4 electronic wearable device. And to help us navigate these new bits of information, we are being joined by Sam Peluso. I hope I said your last name correctly there, Sam, from Esight. Sam, would you like to say hello?
Of course, you said my name perfectly. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Yes, I did not expect to get that right. So, well, thank you very much for joining us today, Sam. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's been a busy morning. I'm calling from Toronto, Canada, which is where the Esight headquarters is.
Indeed, indeed. And how's the weather there in Toronto?
It's been rainy. It's been very rainy.
Okay, well, that's a shame. It's nice and sunny here, so I'll just rub that in your face. And but I'm very glad that you could join us today to talk about Esight. Now, we have covered Esight on the show before, but it was a long time ago. It was actually when the Esight 4 first came out, and we got a demo of that, and we looked at it on the show. But I'm glad you're able to join us because there are some updates, and I think you'll be able to give us a lot of good information. But before we get there, we do need to cover our normal housekeeping. And so anybody who is on our show today, please do feel free to put into the chat or into the Q&A any questions that you might have as we go along, or just any general comments. And we always enjoy jokes as well. So if you have any jokes, please feel free to put those into the chat or into the Q&A, and we will answer those as we go along. And these shows are also eligible for ACV REP credits. And you can go ahead and get those by visiting vision-forward.org/Tech Talk Live. And from there, you will be able to fill out the survey and enter the entrance and the exit codes. And so let's have a look what our entrance code is today. I've actually forgotten what it is, so this is going to be a surprise to me as well. And our entrance code today is electronic. So let me just quickly go ahead and put that into the chat here. There we go. Entrance code electronic. So if you do need ACV REP credits, then please do visit vision-forward.org/Tech Talk Live. With that, I think we've probably covered all of the housekeeping there, but we do still have the joke of the day, which we do enjoy doing. And I did get a joke ready just before the show here. And so, Sam, let me ask you a question. Let me tell you about something that I did. I went traveling recently, and I tried to sue the airport because they misplaced my luggage. But unfortunately, I lost my case.
Oh. That's clever.
That's a bad one.
That's clever. It's clever.
And if you were interested in buying the InFocus joke book, then please don't, because it's full of terrible jokes. Yes. If anybody else has any better jokes, then please do feel free to put them in the chat there. But I think that one's going to be fairly hard to top. All right, so with all of that being said, then I think we can dive into today's show. So first of all, Sam, we're going to be talking about the Esight 4 today. So why don't we start off by you just giving us a bit of information about what the Esight 4 is, maybe about the history of Esight as a company and what you do there.
Sure, I think that's a great place to start. So I'll introduce myself a little bit to begin with. I'm Sam, and I'm our clinical account specialist here at Esight. I work with a lot of our patients, and I work with a lot of the doctors that work with our device. And so Esight's been around for about 10 years, but the first device didn't really show up for people to acquire until probably around 2016 or so. The first device was created by a man named Conrad Lewis. He started engineering it in the late 2000s because he had two sisters with Stargardts. Stargardt, for those unfamiliar, is a condition similar to macular degeneration, where you have a blind spot in the center of your field of view. Unlike macular degeneration, though, Stargardt generally shows up in users as early as like 7 or 8 years old, or as late as like 25 or 30. And so it's generally a condition that people deal with throughout their lives. So growing up, he had these two sisters. He wanted to create a device that would allow them to be a bit more independent. The first device that he created was similar to a scuba helmet. It was a huge apparatus.
Nice.
You had to be tethered to a power pack just to be able to walk around and see things. And over the years, it became smaller and smaller. Esight 3 was our first very commercial device, much, much smaller. It was written about in Time magazine at the time because of how far it had come. And it looked much more like a pair of glasses. And it had this long cord that came off to it and a heavy controller with the batteries in it. But it allowed a person to walk around, be mobile, and see things up close or far away. Last summer, we released the Esight 4, which I have here with me today. And we've been updating it steadily ever since, with software updates that you can download for free over the internet for any user that has purchased the device since then. Now, I'll throw this on, and you can see how easy it is for me to put this device on. All I have to do is put it over my head, lower it, and I'm looking right through the screens. And the difference between Esight and a lot of the other devices that are out there is while I'm using this, I still have access to my peripheral vision. So I can still see what's going on down at my feet and to my left and right. So I don't have to worry about somebody bumping into me or me tripping over something.
Totally. And that design ethos has been part of Esight since the beginning, or at least since I've been familiar with it. So I was familiar with the Esight 2 from back in the day, and that was a somewhat chunky device, I think it would be fair to say. Very large, kind of black visor with kind of a matte finish, but reflective black lenses in it. Still same kind of idea. I mean, you had the camera in the front, you had the ambient light detectors, I guess, in the front as well. But with that particular one, I remember there was a wire that went to a control panel, which was particularly large, so large, in fact, that it required the use of a shoulder bag to put it in. Yes, and yes, you had to put it in the shoulder bag, and then you could access the magnification controls and things like that through there. So I do remember that. But even with that particular device, it still had the bioptic tilt and the open design. So Esight from the start has definitely been kind of creating devices which are designed to allow you to walk with or be mobile with, which not a lot of other manufacturers do. So I would say that's definitely one of your unique kind of selling points.
Yeah, and that was the creator's whole idea behind the machine, is Stargardt, like macular degeneration, it affects central vision, but often users have intact peripheral vision. And so he wanted a device that wouldn't block that out, that that wouldn't prevent his sister's ability to walk around or go to the grocery store or just navigate around their own houses. So he wanted a machine that they could wear and still walk around. So yeah, that Esight 2 controller, it was designed, I think, originally for just to be mounted on a table. And the shoulder bag came a little bit later. Right. But people wanted it wireless, so eventually we managed to engineer this to be wireless. And I'll show up close here. As Luke mentioned, there's a camera on the front of this, and on the inside there are 2 screens, and these screens can shift left and right just to fit everybody's heads, since everybody's heads are different sizes. And then there's a little nose guard, so there's no uncomfortable pressure on your nose. And the battery of this device is right on the back. And the Esight 4 actually comes with 2 of these batteries. Each of these lasts around between 2 and 3 hours. depending on what you're doing with the device.
It's pretty remarkable, the evolution of the Esight device. Yeah. And one of the things about Esight, which has always been good, is that you have designed custom hardware. So it is specifically designed for the purpose, which isn't always the case with wearables on the market at the moment. And so it's been interesting to see the evolution of the design from the 2 to the 3, which was really like a really big leap itself. Yes, it was still tethered, but the remote was actually more like a remote, like something you might use for your TV in size. And the visor was like way smaller. And then with the Esight 4, I personally think it's the smartest design yet. It's really pretty cool because I mean, obviously it is hands-free, which is really good. But also there's just a lot of little things about it which are really impressive, like the Halo band, which I'm sure you'll talk about a bit. But the way that is adjustable and fits is really smart. And you just showed the batteries there. And it's really cool, how easy it is to take those out. Like you say, it comes with 2, and you can just literally pull them out. There's not even like a catch or anything. When they're in there, they're secure, but you can just pull them out. And the other cool thing about them is they can go in either way around. And so it's just super easy to swap out the batteries, because I think each one lasts for like 4 hours. Is that what you said? Yeah.
It's between 2 and 3. It depends on what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to go for like a full day or whatever, then just the ability to swap those out is really neat. And I guess when you take out one battery, then you can put it onto charge while you're using the other battery, and just keep on swapping back and forth. Yeah. How long does it take to charge? To charge those?
It takes about the same amount of time to use them, to charge them. So like 3 hours to use, 3 hours to charge is about standard. And so, if you're like in the office and you're trying to use your device like all day, then you can definitely be charging one while you're using the other. But if you're doing something like, I don't know, you're going to a sporting event, or you're traveling and you're not going to be around an outlet for a long period of time, you can get extra batteries. So there's actually a doctor that works with us who uses Esight herself, and when she's running around the clinic, she doesn't have time to charge all of her batteries, so she has like 4, and she'll just like swap them out. She usually like 2 or 3 will get her through the day, but she's just got extras for what she needs.
Now, is she doing any kind of like, okay, let me backtrack a second. I had a client one time, and she was a medical student, and she came in, I forget what her vision loss was caused by, but she was low vision. She came in to look at wearables to help her with suturing, because that's something that she had to do in order to get through her course. And so she brought in some like fake flesh that I guess they used to practice on, and she brought in her suturing kit, and we practiced. Well, I say we. I was just sitting there watching her, but she practiced suturing with a wearable, which was pretty remarkable. So, this doctor? Are they doing anything like that, or is it more just like general practitioner type of stuff?
I think it's more GP stuff. But I don't think she does much suturing at this point in her career. But a common use for like Esight is for things like sewing, which isn't that different from suturing, I suppose.
No, very, very similar, yeah. And I think the challenge with trying to do that type of thing with a wearable is always going to be like the depth of field. Because obviously when you zoom in, your sense of how far away things are is kind of changed. So you have to learn to use a combination of your touch as well as your vision to let you do that. But it's amazing what people can adapt to. If anybody... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it does take a little bit of getting used to, you're right, because you'll notice there is only one camera on this. So, a depth of field and depth perception is a little bit different. So something that we do at Esight is anybody who purchases it actually gets paired up with one of our coaches. So we've got 6 people that work on our team that are all low vision Esight users themselves. And so they had to go through the learning process at one point, and now they're helping other people learn. So that we've got this whole like training course. And most people, you get 5 coaching sessions. Most people only need like 1 or 2, just because the device isn't very hard to learn. But for those things like, all right, I need to practice, picking things up and putting things down, because my depth perception is different. We've got a coach to like walk people through that.
Yeah, and those sessions, are those come included in the price, or are they a separate thing?
Yeah, Yeah, those are included. Like I said, it comes with 5. Most people
Yeah.
only need like 1 or 2.
Okay.
For the folks that need extra, you can get more, but a few people do.
Okay. And in terms of those then, are the trainers able to access the camera of the headset to see what the user's seeing? Is that a thing or?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
If the device is connected to Wi-Fi,
Sure.
what can happen is we can enter in like the ID number of that device, and the user will get a notification on their screen asking them to give permission.
Okay.
And then if they hit yes, then the coach will then be able to see what the user is seeing.
Yeah,
So
that's definitely helpful when it comes to training for sure.
yeah, it is very helpful when it comes to training.
Yeah.
The average age of our users is 65. So I've worked with children as young as 7 years old who are learning the device, and I've worked with people as old as 95
Awesome.
who are just learning the ropes of it. And
Yeah,
so we've got all ranges of skill levels, and obviously those 7-year-olds don't need quite the same amount of training as probably the 95-year-olds.
Yeah.
Although
I have met a lot of very savvy 95-year-olds as well, so you never know. You never know.
Yeah, definitely. I've worked. Usually, the 95-year-olds that wear this device are, very, very talented individuals.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Yeah, totally. So you say that it suits a number of different age ranges. Why don't you show us the Halo band and how that can adapt to different head sizes?
So you saw me lifting it up and down before, and I'll show that again in a second. But the bulk of this device is this halo here, and there's a wheel up at the front of it, and I can rotate this, and I can change. You can see I can make this quite small, or I can turn the wheel again, and it gets larger than I would need it.
Yeah.
So
totally.
It's designed to fit almost every head, and there are ways that we can adjust it even further if we meet a user that is outside of this range, either too small or their head is too large. There are some other adjustments that we can make prior to sending a unit out. But once you have the device set, I'm wearing this right over my glasses. This is a distance prescription, and it just comes right here over the glasses that I already have. That's something that we changed from Esight 3. With Esight 3, we had to make custom glasses for the person. But now you could just bring your own glasses. And I can also slide this forwards and backwards. So I can make the visor farther away, or I can move it back so it's up closer. And I can get it really right up against my glasses. And while it's there, all I have to do is I can just tilt it up. I can see underneath it. And then when I need it, I can just peek up, or I can point it back down.
It's extremely adjustable for sure. So you've got the width of the halo, number one. You've got the kind of positioning of the visor, kind of forward and backward. And then you've got the visor itself tilts up and down, but it's also on arms which go up and down as well. So there's all these different degrees of movement, and I think that's really important because you want to get it as fitted as closely to your eyes as you can, because that will give you the widest field of view. So having all those different degrees of adjustability really does help with that. And like you said, with previous Esights, you needed those prescription inserts, which just added a little bit of kind of hassle to the whole process. So I think it's really nice now how you can just wear it over your own glasses. And I think as well, so with the previous models, you had to specify your pupillary distance, or the distance in between the eyes, so that the screens could be positioned in front of the eyes. But now I think, are they user adjustable now? Or?
They are user adjustable. So
yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
there are a lot of ways that you can customize this, but the nice thing is, and one of the things with the Esight 3 is there was this strap. Whenever you wanted to put it on or take it off, you had to do up this strap. With this, you can see how fast it is for me to put this on and take it off. It's just very, very quick, and I don't have to make any adjustments because the adjustments are already there. And on the inside of the visor, there are like measurements, so you can set like a pupillary distance for a person. And once those are set, you don't have to touch them ever again. But if you want to, let your friend try the device on, then all you have to do is adjust it. They can slide the prisms into the position that they need them for their pupillary distance. And then when you put them back on, you can just adjust them back yourself.
Excellent. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you control the device?
Yeah, of course. So the device comes with this remote. So it's very small. Your TV remote might be larger, and it's connected with Bluetooth to the Esight device. And with this, we can manage all the controls. We can zoom in and out. We can adjust contrast. There are binary color filters like black, white, color inversions, blue, yellow, that sort of thing. If that helps you with rating, you can take videos and things like that. That's all with the controller. Now, if I don't want to carry this around with me, there is a mobile app on the phone that you can download. It looks like this. And with this, I can control everything that the remote can do.
Excellent.
And finally, on the right arm of this device, there's this smooth spot here. And this smooth spot is actually a touchpad. So this is touch sensitive. And if you don't want to carry anything around with you, then you can slide your finger across that touchpad. You can zoom in and out. You can adjust contrast up and down. And so if you really want to be hands-free, maybe you're at the grocery store, you know, you've got your cart in one hand and you don't want to dig through your pockets or your purse to grab the remote. All you have to do is reach up, slide your finger, zoom in, zoom out, and see what you need to see.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think with the touchpad, it's not access to all the functions. It's just the magnification and the colors. Is that correct?
Yeah, there are a few things that are remote specific that you do need the remote to get to. There are some ways, like you can actually change the color filter using the touchpad if you really know the controls well. But like you can't take photos with the touchpad. You can't record video. But that is something that I can do with the remote here.
And with the phone app, I believe that you're able to, so the phone app will display the video that is also being seen inside the headset, right? So you could give your phone to somebody else and they'd be able to see on the phone what you were seeing in the headset. Is that correct?
That is correct. So if you're like at a clinic and the everything is set up, then you could see, then like your eye care provider could see what the device is seeing on your phone. And so as you're looking around, they could see. So if you're training somebody, just like our coaches use, it's a really useful tool. But you can also do a few other things with the app. Other than just using it as a remote. You can also send like any photos that you've taken with this. You can use the app to send the photos on the device to your phone.
Oh, nice.
You could also send photos that you've taken on your phone to the device in case you want to look at those there. And one of the most fun things that you can do with it is you can actually mirror your phone screen on the Esight.
Awesome.
So I was playing around with it the other day. I didn't think I'd have this much fun with it, but you can actually watch YouTube videos. So you could pull up like YouTube, and I ended up watching like a 10-minute like dog compilation on the device.
That's exactly the type of thing that I would have looked up as well.
I was like, what's a good thing to watch on this? And I ended up watching like all 10 minutes of it because I was like, oh, this is fun.
Nice. So the cool thing about that is, I mean, it's not limited. Well, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but it wouldn't be limited to YouTube. You'd be able to open any app on your phone and view it directly in Esight, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like if you want to check your email and you want to use the Esight to help you see that, or if you want to read a text message and it's easier to see it that way, then you can just mirror that from your phone. So you could also do it for like mobile games. If you really like playing games on your phone, you can see your phone screen there. It's a little tough to do that because
you still have to touch the phone screen to play the game.
You still have to touch the phone screen.
But for video, it's really good because I mean, you could like any video streaming app, you would be able to watch video on. So whether it's like your cable provider app or YouTube or Netflix or whatever, it's not limited. Whatever your phone can, you can watch whatever you can watch video on your phone. You can do it in the Esight as well, which is really cool. Yeah, and actually, so I had a client yesterday who wanted to try and see their phone screen using like a handheld electronic magnifier. And it's just not like very good trying to do it like that because like number one, unless you've got an electronic magnifier with a handle, like it's kind of hard to get your phone positioned under the device. Now, this particular device does actually have a camera that kind of comes out the top that allows you to write underneath. So he could get his phone under there, but then it's just like trying to kind of like figure out where your hands are. Like, okay, for example, like he had his phone under the camera, so his phone was showing up on the screen of the device, but then he was trying to like use the screen of the device to use his phone, which is natural. I mean, you know, you feel like you should be able to do that, but obviously it doesn't work like that.
But it can't quite work that way.
Yeah. So I think the Esight is a nice solution. Somebody has a question here from anonymous attendee. I don't think we've ever had an anonymous attendee with a question before, so this is our first. But the question is, how much does the Esight 3 weigh? Okay.
So the Esight 3 weighed about half a pound.
Yeah, I think they probably mean Esight 4, though, because that's what we're talking about today. So
Esight 4 weighs a little bit more than that. To get rid of the wires, we had to add a little bit more padding in the headset. So Esight 4 weighs just about a pound. But Esight 3, all of that weight was on the front of your face. Esight 4, this is like perfectly balanced. There are no pressure points on my head when I wear this. So like I don't feel this at all. And I can wear this like all day long and it's not going to get tiresome.
Yeah, so the way it's supposed to be worn, because the battery, I would say, is probably the heaviest part.
Yeah.
So that part is supposed to go kind of where the neck joins. Yeah, there.
Yeah. So you can see.
Yeah, right, like on the back, and then the top of the halo goes kind of higher up on the above the forehead type of thing. As long as you've got it in the correct position, which it does kind of naturally fall into that position anyway. Then I agree. The weight distribution is really quite good.
Yeah, so the weight of the battery in the back is offset by the weight of the visor in the front.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole idea behind it. And we had a lot of problems with the Esight 3 and with the Esight 2, where especially if it was hot, it would slip down your face and all of the weight would end up on your nose.
Yeah, totally.
And that just doesn't happen with this. This one, it just stays in place the whole time you're wearing it.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit more about some of the functionality? So you had mentioned some of the things there. We have obviously magnification.
Yeah.
We can change the colors. We can do photos and videos. So why don't you go into some of those a little bit more? Start with the magnification. What kind of magnification level do we get? And are we able to focus up close and in the distance, or how does that work?
Sure. So one of the nice things about the development of Esight is we've always been really, really closely connected with our users. A lot of the features that we've added have been on the recommendation of people who have used the previous device. So currently the Esight magnification that's built in, it starts at 1x normal size, but you can increase magnification all the way up to 24x. 24x is pretty intense. Most people are going to hang out between 1 and 6x, depending on what they need to see. But if you need to go up to that 24x to read the small print on your newspaper, then you have that power to do so.
And I believe that is the highest magnification out of any of the wearables on the market. I'm not going to force you to say that if you don't know, but it's definitely the highest of any that I've ever seen. Do you know if that is the case?
That is familiar to me as well. I think a lot of the other ones kind of top off around 16 or so.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. Yeah, for sure.
The last time I was looking into it.
But so I think you do have to, like you said though, at 24, it's not necessarily going to be super usable because that is a lot of magnification, especially on a wearable where you've got to take into account head movement and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it takes a little bit of training and focus to hang out at that, and you're never going to be walking around at 24x. Most people are walking around at 1 or 2x. And then when you find something that you need to focus on, like if you're looking at a can that you've taken off the shelf at the supermarket, then you would increase magnification. Maybe you need up to 24x to see whether or not they're what the sugar is in the nutrition facts.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Never look at that though. That's
no, of course
idea.
not.
No.
Better off not seeing that.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a question here from Nitesh who asks, does the Esight 4, no, let me rephrase that. Does any part of the device, including the battery, get warm with extended usage?
It does generate a little bit of heat because there's a camera that's on all the time. So it's just like your phone. If you open your phone and you just leave the camera on for 30 minutes, your phone's going to get pretty warm too. The nice part about this is you can see, I don't know how close I can get to the screen here, but this
venting.
actually isn't touching. The visor itself is the part that gets warm. The battery doesn't heat up. The visor is the part that gets warm.
Okay.
And it's not touching my face anywhere.
Yeah.
So there's still a bit of space for the device to vent that heat out into the air. So it's really not a problem. And you can wear the device for, 6 hours until the batteries die.
Yeah. And I think, so the Esight 3 had venting on the top of the visor, so that's where the heat would come out. It looks like this one is the same as well. And so you never really need to touch the, right where the venting is. So it shouldn't be a problem. I've never noticed the one that we've had to get unusually warm or anything like that. So, yeah.
The Esight 3 would get quite a bit warmer than this one. There was a spot on the top where we had to be like, don't touch that. There's nowhere on this where like it gets so hot where you can't touch it.
Okay, so even if you grabbed right at the top there, you'd still be totally fine.
Yeah, like I can grab this and it's totally fine. And my device has been on for a bit of time. The device kind of shoots the heat out of all around it now instead of just the top, which is what the Esight 3 did.
Okay, that's smart. So we have up to 24 times magnification. Now, as we go up in magnification with these types of devices, usually we do get some pixelation and lose some clarity. So what are your personal thoughts about how the Esight 4 does with that side of things?
I think it's pretty good for that. Like, I'm fully sighted. I'm a fully sighted individual, but I can still, I can walk over to the windows in my office. I can zoom in on a sign that might be across the street from our building, and there is some text that I'll still be able to see better with the Esight device that I wouldn't be able to see with my natural vision. So there is still some level of pixelation, but what this device is going for, we're not trying to replace your normal vision with this device. This device aims to kind of create a relationship between what you can make out with the device and what you can make out with your normal vision. So it doesn't matter that like the text on that sign across the street isn't perfectly clear. What matters is that I can make it out. And it is all digital magnification, so you do still see a bit of pixelation, especially at the higher levels. And we did some experimenting when we were developing this. Like there were like Instagram like filters that we could apply to make everything look like smooth and nice. But it made it much harder to read. Like it smoothed out all the letters. You look at a lowercase e and it looked like an O.
Interesting.
And so we decided to leave some of that pixelation in because it still made it easier to make out smaller text. And that's what it's all about. We want to be able to make out those details and not necessarily see them exactly as they are. That's
the thing. Like in general, so when you magnify, it doesn't necessarily mean then that you're going to see things perfectly clear. Oftentimes what it actually means is you can see them to the extent that you're able to figure out what they are. So it's a combination of seeing them, but also processing that, and your brain can kind of put the pieces together. I think that's a good
exactly point. When you're zoomed into 16x, those letters aren't going to be quite as sharp as they would be if you just walked right up to them. But you don't always have that luxury. If you're trying to see the scoreboard at a soccer game, or if you are at a Starbucks and you're trying to order a coffee from a menu that's hanging from the ceiling, you can't get any closer to that. What matters is being able to zoom in and get the details.
Yeah, I agree. We have a few questions here, if you don't mind. Sorry to keep interrupting here, but people are starting to ask questions here. So we have one from Gary, who asks whether Esight offer demonstrations to low vision support groups. Gary, maybe you'd like to just tell us where you are as well, because that might help. But in general, is that something which Esight do, Sam?
So we work with a lot of organizations like Vision Forward that do demonstrations. Some places will go into homes and do demos. Some places will host events that people can travel to and come to. For low vision support groups, like you can definitely reach out and we'd be happy to hop on like a Zoom call or a webinar just like this and talk and offer support. We also offer our own virtual events. So every Monday at noon Eastern time, we have a virtual coffee chat that we do. So anybody can join this, whether you're an Esight user or you're just curious, and there are a lot of Esight users there. Our coaches often are there. And so if you've got questions, you just want to learn a little bit about the device, or if you're just looking for like low vision resources, you can show up and they'll be happy to talk.
Okay, and when you get a chance, Sam, just before the end there, if you want to put your email address into the chat, and also maybe some links to like the coffee chat or whatever you've got with regards to that. Now, Gary, if you are in the Milwaukee area, then obviously Vision Forward would be able to, oh, here we go, Mequon, Wisconsin. Okay, I'm not, you may already have guessed from my accent, but I'm not from Wisconsin or indeed from America. So, and I actually live in Illinois, even though I work in Milwaukee. So, Gary, I'm not sure how far Mequon is from Milwaukee, but there's a possibility that Vision Forward might be able to come out to your group and do a demonstration of the Esight 4. So I'll go ahead and put my contact details into the chat here. Just give me a second to do that. And so it's lscriven@vision-forward.org. I'll go ahead and put that in there. So Gary, let me know if Mequon is not too far away from Milwaukee, then we should be able to help you out with that. Okay, anonymous attendee again asks, how much is the Esight 4 basic unit and how much for one extra battery?
Sure, great question. So the most important thing with the Esight device is to try it first. I don't want anybody to start saving their money before they know if this is the right solution for them. There are a lot of ways that you can test the device. If you're in the area where you can make it to Vision Forward to test it out, that's great. We also do in-home trials. You can contact us to sign up for one of those. If you pass our screening, we will screen you first. We don't want to waste your time or your money. And if it seems like you're a good candidate, then we can send a device out for you to test at home. If you've tested it, you know the device works for you, you're going to use it, it seems like a good fit, you can purchase the device outright for just shy of $6,000. It's $5,950. If that's a bit outside of your price range, then we do have financing options, and we have a lot of other flexible avenues for payment that people can pursue. Like, we'll work with you for if you want to file an insurance claim, we can help you there. The device currently isn't covered under Medicare. It is something that we're working on, but we have good relationships with a lot of grants and a lot of organizations that can help contribute to the cost of the device. So test it out, see if it works, and then we'll work with you to find something that fits into your budget.
I think that's a really good point that you make, because there's, sometimes you read about devices and it sounds like it's going to cure all of your woes, and you'll be able to do everything that you want to be able to do. But until you've actually tried a device, you don't know how well it's going to work for you. And particularly with wearables in general, I think it's really important to try them out. So it's good that Esight have got something in place to allow people to do that. And of course, we do have the device here, and it is at other low vision agencies as well. And so if you do want to kind of try the Esight out, it's worth getting in touch with a low vision group in your area and just seeing if they have it and are able to do a demonstration for you.
Of course.
So,
and the battery, I forgot to mention that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you need, the device comes with 2 batteries. If you do need more, then you can purchase extra batteries at about $100 per battery.
Okay, not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so we heard about the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
So the other thing I mentioned while we're talking about who the device works for is who the device works for. I think it's important to be clear about that, because you're right, it can be a life-changing device for a lot of folks, but we need to find the right candidates.
Yes.
So the Esight device works best for folks that are between 20/60 and 20/600 in their better eye. So if one of your eyes is outside of that range, like if one of your eyes is stronger than that, you probably don't need Esight quite yet.
Okay.
But if you are within that range, the other things that we're looking for are central vision loss is generally the folks that have the best results. So macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, Stargardt, retinal detachments, things like that. We have good results. Additionally, if magnification is something that helps you, then I recommend you try the device. magnification is usually a good indication that this device could help you as well.
Yeah, so if you've got like a CCTV and it's working for you, then there's a good chance that this might work for you as well.
Exactly, handheld magnifiers, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Other common conditions like glaucoma, retinitis pigmentosa. If you've got tunnel vision, if you've got poor peripheral vision, this device is not going to increase your field of view. This is not going to improve your peripheral vision. This device is designed for central vision loss. So if you are an individual who is still benefited by magnification, it may still be worth testing the device out and seeing if it works for you. I encourage you to reach out and see what your options are. Just be aware this isn't a device that's going to replace a white cane or a guide dog or a walker or something like that.
Okay, that's good. And we do have another question, which is the big daddy of all questions. And I'm glad somebody brought it up, but it does put you on the spot a little bit here, Sam. So the question is, could you please talk about any features? Oh, sorry, I should say this is also from Nitesh. Could you please talk about any features that that kind of are different from Esight that make it better than the competitors? All right,
sure,
go.
that is a big question.
Yes.
But luckily, I think there's a lot that really puts us above. For one, we're really the only device that's totally designed around mobility. So this device, you take it to the grocery store, you can take it to a sporting event. It's designed for independence and to help allow people to be more independent. It's great that you can use this device at home. You can use this to, check your mail, balance your checkbook, watch television in the comfort of your own home. But you can also use it to make sure you're getting on the right bus. Make sure that you're crossing the street only when the walk signal has turned on. Make sure that you're buying, the right variety of Coca-Cola and not the diet version. That sort of thing. You can order food for yourself at a restaurant. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't want the diet version.
No. So being able to do those things on your own, go to work, go to school. We've got a lot of people that use this device for continued education and for in places of employment. Like we've got this user that has Esight, and he's like a manager at a Wendy's, I believe. And it's a very fast-paced environment, and he needs the device to be able to read the tickets when they come through. But because he has his peripheral vision free, he can just wear the device, tilt it up a little bit. He can walk around and make sure he's not bumping into anybody in this fast-paced kitchen. But when the ticket comes up, all he has to do is point his head down, look at the ticket, and he can get all the information that he needs.
Nice.
The other thing that Esight offers is the customer support aspect. So we've got a team of coaches that I mentioned before that are low vision themselves. And they are always available. You have their personal contact information. And so if something comes up and you need the device, then you can give them a call, shoot them an email, and let them know what's going on. And we also put on all these events that are open to the public. Anybody can join. So we've really put a lot of emphasis on community. And for, like we've done in the past, anything that our users want to see, we want to pay attention to that, and we want to provide that in future updates. Yeah.
Esight's kind of training and support has always been good, and it's always felt like it's been a focus. Like I remember the Esight 2 where there was like a big kind of manual which had exercises in, and you had at that point still you had the training included in the price and everything. So it's always been there. And that level of support, does definitely make Esight stand apart. Although there are other companies who do have good support as well, so I don't want to kind of put them down. But Esight definitely does a good job at that. Some of the things that I think it excels at is it's a custom design, which not a lot of the wearables are. So it has been built from the ground up for the purpose. It has the bioptic tilt, which I believe is patented.
Yes.
So as Sam was saying, like it's really designed for mobility, and it does a great job at that. This particular model is hands-free. It has easily interchangeable batteries. It has the highest magnification, I think, of any of the wearables. And it has some of the advanced features. For example, the fact that you can control it from your smartphone is really, really cool. And I think it's unique. And also like the ability to record video and things like that. So there's a lot about Esight which makes it stand apart. And I think if you need something to assist you with mobility, then it's definitely worth checking it out. With the proviso that, as Sam has already said, it's not going to replace your kind of usual mobility tools. So it's not going to replace your white cane. It's not going to replace your, guide dog. And it's not supposed to replace those things. It's supposed to augment them. And so as you are walking, then you are going to be kind of using your peripheral vision, looking underneath into the sides of the visor. When you want to see something magnified, you can either just look up into the visor or tilt your head down or whatever and go ahead and zoom in on things. So yeah, those are the things which I've always been impressed at. Now, the other thing is that I know that in the past, and I believe in the present, people have used Esight for use with a computer and for watching television, not looking at the screen, but using direct HDMI input.
Yep.
And you can actually, now I know with previous models, I should know with this one, but off the top of my head, I don't want to make a statement that's not correct. So I know with previous models, you were able to, for example, plug your computer directly into the headset over HDMI and then magnify using the Esight, so not using a screen magnifier on the computer or anything like that. You would zoom in using the Esight and you could pan with inertial panning just by moving your head around. Is that still, I know there is an HDMI input on the Esight 4. Are you still able to do those same things I just described?
Yeah, that's actually a good segue for us because we actually just released our 4.1 software update.
Excellent.
With that came a number of improvements, and one of the things that we really worked on polishing was the HDMI features. So it's easier to use now. There's a port at the back of one of the arms here, and you can plug this right into your computer. And if you do, you'll see your computer screen on the Esight device. And while you're doing that, you can use the touchpad or the remote, and you can zoom in and you can pan around the screen using that inertial panning just by moving your head.
Nice.
You could still adjust like contrast and everything as well. And I believe you can invert the colors if you need to. Usually your computer already has those tools built in, but
Sure.
In case you don't have that option for some reason, maybe you're playing on an Xbox and you've got the Xbox HDMI'd into the headset. Maybe you want to use those tools there. But yeah, that's definitely an option. So we also have splitters that you can get. So one of our coaches, he plays a lot of video games, and he's got a daughter who's like 10 years old. And the device was really great for him because, it felt like he could really be more involved in his daughter growing up. And one thing that they do is they've got a splitter set up. So they play Mario Kart together. She'll play watching on the TV, and he has the HDMI connected right into the headset. And so they'll both sit on the couch right next to each other. She'll be looking at the TV. He'll just be looking there, looking at the Esight device.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, that's a dangerous game to play, even with your daughter, because it is the kind of game that ends friendships and relationships. So he's a brave guy. But
he is.
Yeah. But no, that's really cool. And definitely, I've worked with younger people who want a way of more accessibly being able to game. So I think that's really cool. I'm just going to give a shout out here as well. We did a video a while ago on the accessibility tools built into the Xbox One series of consoles. So check out the YouTube channel. There is actually some good accessibility stuff built directly into your Xbox One if you have one, and probably the PlayStation 4 as well, but I didn't have one of those. So
that's great. I have heard really good things about the Xbox's accessibility tools. So.
Yeah, well, I think because it's a Microsoft product, then they're getting really quite good with their accessibility these days. So so that makes sense. We've got a couple more questions here in the question and answer from Diane. Okay. So Diane, I think, is a little bit confused about how it works, because Diane is asking if it makes any difference if the smartphone is I'm confused about Diane's question. Apologies, Diane, for casting aspersions on you there. No, so are you able to load the Esight app onto iPhone and Android, or is it just iPhone at the moment?
iPhone works. Most Android phones work. So Samsung phones work. Google phones work pretty well. If you've got a more third-party phone that's running Android, because I know that there are a lot of different Android phones.
Yes,
You
yes.
can still download the app. I can't guarantee that it's going to work flawlessly,
Okay.
but it is still there and it should be accessible.
That's the thing with Android. You never know what you're going to get. And some of those cheaper Android phones, yeah, it's slightly
Yeah.
questionable. So, yeah, if you have one of those, then yes, it might not work.
Right.
From anonymous attendee again, are Esight units custom tailored to an individual's specific vision loss, or can a couple, both with AMD, use the same unit? Good question.
You can. You could both use the same unit.
Yes.
The only customization that's done to the device is done when you take it out of the box. So you'd adjust how big the halo is, you adjust where the prisms sit, but that's it. So it's like I could take this off, I could hand it to my coworker, they could fit it to their head and adjust the prisms, and then they'd be good to go.
Yeah, and it's really easy to do that as well.
Yeah, there are some features that you might customize in the settings menu. Like you might prefer like different size fonts on the menu, or different color schemes, or you might like black-white color filter and they might like blue-yellow color filter. But you can just leave them both on, and it really isn't going to be an issue.
Yeah, and so that's actually an improvement over the Esight 3 and the Esight 2, where the lenses would be, or the prisms, would be fixed in position according to the pupillary distances that were given at dispense. So, yeah, with this one, you can just adjust those as well. So really, I mean, everything is adjustable at this point. So yeah, if you're a part of a low vision group, you could buy one and just share it between all the members. You know, each person gets it for a week at a time. And,
there you go.
Everybody's happy. Cool. I know. So we've talked a lot about the device here, but I think kind of we were supposed to talk about the update, which you have just done.
Right.
So you told us a little bit about that, but I don't want to finish this without giving you the opportunity to say anything more about that. So is there anything else that you wanted to say about that update?
Yeah, of course. So the update is actually a number of exciting changes. So if you are an existing Esight user, I encourage you, if you have not already, to download that update. If their device is connected to the internet, it should give you the prompt automatically the next time you turn it on. It'll tell you that there's an update ready to download. All you have to do is hit OK. A couple seconds later, it should ask you to restart, and then you'll be good to go. The update, like I mentioned, we've improved the HDMI features. We've also smoothed out some of the zooming, so it's easier to customize the lower end of the spectrum, and it's easier to travel at the higher end of the spectrum through useful zoom levels. But we've also improved our autofocus. So you get a much sharper image in pretty much every lighting environment that you might find yourself in, and it should provide you an in-focus image no matter what. And so that is something with this device, and most wearables, of course, nowadays are doing this. The device manages the focus for you. So you don't have to push any buttons on the remote to do the focus. If I look at something that I'm holding in my hand, it'll focus on that. If I look at something 15 feet away, it'll focus on that. And now the Esight device is better at it.
Okay. And I think, though, is it true to say that you can manual focus if you want to? But it's kind of hidden. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, you can, but it's a mode that isn't easy to get to because we don't want anyone to end there accidentally. So if you like I said, for those tinkerers out there that really want that level of customization, you can set up a manual focus option on your device, and then you can manage those for yourself. So if you're in like a fast-paced environment and you really want to be able to fine-tune that, then it's available for you.
Cool, that's what I thought, yeah. And I'm glad that the autofocus has improved, because we've talked in the past about it, and I think when the Esight came out, the autofocus wasn't as good as perhaps it should have been. So I think like improvements have been made since that time, and you know, I'm excited that you guys keep on working on that, because obviously it's a really important component of a wearable, and it's kind of, oh, excuse me, I just dropped my headphone there. It's kind of a tough thing to manage, because with a wearable being on the head as it is, you know, users are able to kind of look around quite quickly, and so the camera's really having to managing, you know, quite a lot that's going on. So you know, I can definitely see where the challenge lies with that type of thing, especially when you start to, you know, add in the zoom and everything as well. So yeah,
it's definitely probably the aspect of the program that we have spent the most time and resources developing, because
Yes,
we need the camera to be fast. We need it to, there can't be any delay. If there's any delay, you just start getting motion sick like super quickly. So there's no delay in the camera, and the focus just has to be reliable. So we've tweaked how we've calibrated our cameras. We've tweaked the algorithms that we use to find the right focal point, and pretty reliable experience now.
Yeah. Good. That's very good to hear. Well, I'm sad to say that we seem to be running out of time here. So I'm going to go ahead and give the exit code now for anybody who does need to leave at this point. So again, you can get ACVR EP credits by going to vision-forward.org/Tech Talk Live. And from there, you will see links to go ahead and fill out your survey and put in your entrance and exit codes. So the exit code is, let's see what it is, because again, I've forgotten what I actually wrote here. Vision. Exit code is Vision. So if you do need those credits, then please make a note of that. All right, well, I guess then we're wrapping up here. But I will ask you before we say goodbye, if there's anything that you're allowed to talk about that might be on the horizon, or just anything else exciting that you might want to share with us today.
Well, so I will say that the one of the other things with the update is this is the first of our big ones, but we do have other ones planned, and any features that we add on the horizon will be free to download. So if you've got things that you want to see added, come to one of our coffee chats and mention it, and we'll add it to the list. We have a history of adding things that people have asked. For example, there is a flashlight on this device.
Yes.
That was added on recommendation of one of our users. So if you want to see it happen, we're not going to know unless you tell us. So come to one of our events, shoot me an email, and any of those updates that we can do software-wise will be free to download.
And the email for those who haven't seen it is samuel@esighteyewear.com. And of course, the website is esighteyewear.com as well. So feel free to visit those. And of course, you can also give us a call here at Vision Forward, 414-615-0103. I will put that in the chat here. If you've got any questions about this device or any other device, or if you just want to have a chat, whatever, the phone lines are open. So feel free to give us a call about that. Okay, well, I guess that's it. Anything else to say, Sam, or do you feel like you've covered everything that you need to cover?
The time has really flown by, so yes, I really appreciate being here. I appreciate this opportunity to speak, and I am so glad everybody came and asked all these great questions.
Yes, me too. Yes, thank you everybody for your questions as usual, and thank you for attending, and thank you, Sam, for coming on. It's been fun. It looks like we had a couple of people saying thank you, so thank you to you for joining. And of course, please do join us in another 2 weeks' time when we will be doing something. I'm not exactly sure what, but I'll tell you two things that I'm trying to do. Number one, I'm trying to get somebody from Brainport to come on and speak with us. And for those of you who don't know, Brainport is a wearable device designed for people who are blind. And it works in a strange way by having a electric stimulus thing that you put on your tongue that basically draws what the camera is seeing on your tongue. So if you want to learn how to see with your tongue, then you definitely want to stay tuned for that. And that could be in 2 weeks' time. But if it's not that, I'm also talking to somebody to come on to talk about the Intra Cortical visual prosthesis, which is a electronic chip which would be implanted on the visual cortex, and that would be stimulated by wirelessly by a pair of glasses with a camera in the front, and hopefully would give vision to people who are blind by actually bypassing the optic nerve and going straight to the visual cortex. Now, this is something which is still under development, and they're going to be doing trials. I think that's this year or next year that they'll be starting the trials, and so sounds very interesting, and the technology marches on ever forward. So yes, that may be what we see in 2 weeks' time as well. But at the moment, nothing is set in stone, so that means you're just going to have to tune in to find out what is going on. So 2 weeks time, same place, same time, and I will just leave you by asking you to visit our YouTube channel if you are interested. We do have recordings of all of these Tech Talk lives, as well as our more produced videos, and I think we have over 100 videos there now, so there's a lot of good content on assistive technology devices, tips and tricks. So do go ahead and visit that if you have a moment, youtube.com/InFocus Technology. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel, and also do like the videos if you like them. If you don't like them, you can just do an unlike instead, whatever you want. With that being said, I will say thank you again to Sam, thank you to everybody who joined us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time. Bye for now.
Thanks for joining us for another Tech Talk Live. If you enjoyed Corey and Luke's antics, join us again in 2 weeks. To register, visit vision-forward.org/Tech Talk Live.